Hi everyone. I have a very interesting video for you today because I have been getting messages from Spirit about teaching people the breadth of what their gifts can really do through explaining what my gifts have done and how they evolve every single day. And especially over these last couple of days, this is probably the strongest I've ever seen them. And by the minute, I feel like they get stronger. So I'm going to tell you a few things that are really important. So listen up. I'm hoping this video makes it because I've tried to make videos about this before and my videos magically disappear. So a couple days ago, my friend sent me a video after I had posted about how I would do my run and touch the fence. And it was a movie preview of that femme, I don't know what the name of the movie is, going and touching the fence and then it being like a whole nother reality. And then yesterday I had like one DVD left and it was Spider-Man that I had found. And I put it in and I was like, why did this one, out of everything I got rid of in this room, why did this one stay? And I was like, clearly I need to watch it. So I put it in. The first preview was the exact same preview my friend had just sent me. And so Spirit was saying like, you're on the other side. Like your energy is now on the other side. And aside from that, psychic gifts work very differently than what people think. So there's folks who can view time, right? Like that's I feel like the tip of the iceberg for your psychic gifts. Then there's people like me who will use all of their clairs, all of their energy and the energies of other energies to see the future and like other realities. And it's to the point where I don't even know when it happens half the time. So I will just be standing around and I will say something or something will pop in my head and I'll just say, like yesterday or day before yesterday, it was sugar and spice and everything nice. And then like flowers. And I was just saying all these things and I was focusing on random stuff and I could see the words and they were popping around. And then one of my ancestors comes through and is like, you have to remove some people. And then they will show me in my phone, like my phone will just light up. And on someone's page, it said sugar and spice. And I was like, okay, remove. Who's next? And, they're giving you a preview of what might happen, but it's almost like it's coming from not just your ancestors, like it's coming from a bigger source of energy. And a lot of people say it's spirit or God or universe or source or the cosmos. It's all the same. And the more that you develop your gifts, the more protection that you need, because people call it spiritual attacks. And I've talked about this before, but it's very different. It's a balance. So the lighter and brighter your light is, the more energies attached to you, including people, including trickster spirits, including all these things. And what happens is, for someone like me, whose path this is, which I didn't even know it was my path for the longest time to be able to do all these things, you start to receive walk-ins, right? Like if you don't know what a walk-in is, walk-in are literal energies from other realms, other dimensions who will come be in your body and basically do whatever they need to do because they have special energy, they have special gifts that can help you either protect yourself, manifest something, create something, speak to somebody. They are walking into your energy. That's why it's called walk in. And I didn't even know that I could do that until it happened in New Orleans when I met Diana. And before that, I didn't know it was happening until some of my friends were pointing out that while I was on the blocks, because the ancestors dressed me in very specific clothing, African clothing. And each time someone would tell me, you look like Oshun or you look like so and so, and then my entire phone would just like go off with things from Oshun. And people think that, you know, it's possession, but it's much different than that. Like, it's just the energy is there to help you to be present as a channel. Like, you can feel these energies, and on a small level, sometimes people who channel like ancestors can share messages. You'll have the urges to, or like you'll feel the sensations of food, like you can smell things. But when you have a walk-in, it's like a whole different energy. And there was one point where Mary was here, and this was like even further back last year, when like it hadn't hit the US that things were happening in Gaza. And I kept feeling all these different energies, and I was also feeling the energy of people dying, and I kept saying and I kept crying, like, my people, like, what is going on with my people? And I didn't know where it was coming from for the longest time. And I talk about it very little in my book because I didn't know how to explain it. But then I started like dressing very differently and shrouding, and like I was doing certain things with my bed that I couldn't explain. I didn't know why I was doing them. And then someone had a big Mary photo in their, salon, and I was wearing the exact same outfit. Like, that's how they always tell me, I'm wearing the exact same outfit. And I have been seeing names for like the last year, all sorts of different names, meeting all sorts of different people. And I kept hearing like 9 months ago, maybe 10 months ago, like Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, stuff from Wizard of Oz. I was in Wizard of Oz. And then when I was recording my book for, to submit it to Audible, I kept focusing on Cynthia. And I remember going to the film festival in Santa Barbara because our company sponsored it, and listening to them speak, and being so amazed what they did in Harriet. And I've always loved Harriet, and Harriet's an energy that's always around me, and they have been for a really long time. And they always will play the soundtrack of Harriet randomly out of my phone to tell me that they're here. And then I started just getting like random songs about Ariana Grande, and I was like, I didn't understand what any of it was. I didn't understand why I was saying all these phrases, why I was getting all this music, why my phone was just turning on, why like I could lock my dreams and unlock my dreams, why I could be in my dream and also see other people's dreams. Like, that is something that I can also do, which is something that you can also learn to do. I could see all these different dreams, and they almost look like little bubbles. Like I'm in my own dreamscape, and then there's all these other dreams that are happening simultaneously, and I can kind of like push them away or do whatever I want to do. And it's just really interesting to be able to share that. And I just got back. I'm just talking at this point because Spirit, God, whoever said just talk. I just got back from the movie theater, and I had seen Venom, and they told me that I needed to see it today, and I bought my ticket, and of course it was like $10.01, so 10 like 1001, which is like a very powerful number. And the minute I sit down, it was like symbol overload. Like everything I had been seeing for the last like 2 years, all in one thing. And um, there was someone that I was traveling with recently who would say that they felt like they were a bad person. They felt like they had venom in them. And anytime since they've separated that their energy has been around, I was seeing venom, like the movie Venom. And Spirit told me that I needed to see Venom today because it's called The Last Dance. And I also kept hearing while I was walking up, like, what's it called? Like airplanes, like when pilots talk and like saying like ready for takeoff. And, there was like this countdown. And then, the movie starts and they're like doing the countdown. And then, they like drive from kind of near the Grand Canyon to Vegas, and I had done that last year and I didn't know why. Like I was doing things that I didn't know why I was doing them, but they were foreshadowing for other things, and sometimes I never fucking know what it's for. And around this time was when I left to drive to the Grand Canyon. We'll go on a road trip and then drive to the Grand Canyon. And I've always been protected. I never know why this happens. Now I know why, but I've always been protected. I've never had to really plan anything because it's all divinely orchestrated and my gifts work together, and they like the energies do things around me and orchestrate things in a freakish way. And so we drove to the Grand Canyon, no plan whatsoever. Got there really late at night. And I was like, I know we're going to be fine. We get there. We literally got the last room and they took dogs. And then the next day we drove to Vegas, or like after a couple of days, I met my friend. I used like the last of my money to do photography or get photography done by one of my really good friends. And these weird things started to fucking happen. Like, and I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I'm just letting you know that if you feel called to go somewhere, there's probably a reason why. And you may not even know it now, but your gifts could be revealing more than you think. But because your ego is constantly there, you're not able to experience it. And so I don't know why it happened that way. And I don't know why everything happened in this movie. And all of the names I had seen in the last couple weeks were all people's names in the credits. Every single one. People I had physically met, people I had known, my friends from the other side. Like it was like, I'm not even going to name them, but it was like so many from the past year. It was almost like I was watching the film and it was like this huge wrap up. And then there was like the Wicked preview in there with Cynthia and Ariana Grande and all these things, right? And it's just wild what your gifts can do without you even realizing it. And I also didn't realize how strong my protection was until, I mean, I kind of knew maybe last year, but I didn't know how to explain it. And I didn't know why it was there, to be honest. Like around this time, I was separating from someone I had been with for a little bit of time. And I felt like it was being divinely orchestrated because my money was being siphoned so fast. And I felt like I was literally dying. And then like out of the blue, we were driving one night and a car had turned down another road. And then I just get this sense to look, and I look, and for some reason the car turned around and came back and T-boned it. Like it sped up and T-boned the side of our car. And I just was like shaking because I was like, what the fuck was that? That was the first ever I've seen something that supernatural. I mean, I've seen other things, but to the point where it was like someone took the car and just like flipped it around and hit the car, like hit our car. And then, you know, I got really sick and I ended up in the hospital. And then I like came towards the end of my life. And then I like gave in and told them I surrender. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I surrender. And then I got home and all the clocks were reset. If you're new to this channel, that's my short version of that like reset story of realities. And then this time, so I learned that destiny swapping was real, and I didn't know that it was real. And I thought that the person I was with at the time, like a friend, I thought that because we had a connection on the other side, they had very similar gifts. But that wasn't the case. It was, they were picking up on my energy. And then the ancestors started to tell me, you need to pay attention. You're feeling sick. I started to feel really sick. I started to feel really tired, just like I had last year, and I didn't really know why. Money was starting to get really weird. And then I started to like encapsulate my energy, and then my dogs both of them started to get sick. And you know, I was like, that's really strange. My dogs never get sick. And then out of the blue, one of my friends calls me and she tells me, your ancestors say one of your dogs needs to sleep at the foot of your bed to protect you. And I was like, oh, it's Paulo. She's already doing that. And then Babe would sleep on this side of me closest to my heart for protection. And they were taking, it makes me emotional because Polly was so sick. I didn't know if she was gonna make it. She started to take on all of this energy, and you know, my grandfather kept saying, you need to pay attention. You need to pay better attention. And my friend had told me this, you know, energetic protection spell to help myself. And that started to help a lot. And, you know, my ancestors were like, we're going to show you what they're actually doing. And I said, okay, like whatever that means, right? Like this is when your gifts start to commingle together, because it was like the universe, cosmos, ancestors, deities, walk-ins, all working together at the same time. And they had said, there's things that are being hidden. And I said, I can feel that, but I can't put my finger on it. I can't tell what it is. And when I was in New Orleans, I met someone who I knew was going to be my mentor. And I saw them pop up on my phone a year before. And I said, I'm going to meet you probably in about a year. Like I said that to myself, all creepy. And the ancestor said, you'll meet him when it's time. And I said, okay. And when I got to New Orleans, they had told me, turn around the car right now, he's there. And I said, okay. So I drove straight over, and there he was. Weird energetic stuff happens to me in New Orleans because of the land. And I walked in, and then one of the altars caught on fire. And then he comes out, and a femme walks towards me, and she was like, whoa, what's with your aura? And I was like, I know it's bright. I need help. That's all I really said, right? And then she was like, are you related to Marie Laveau? And I was like, I don't think so, but it feels that way sometimes because they're always around. And I had found out that my family is also buried in Cemetery 1, the same place where Marie Laveau is. And Marie was also the one who led me there. And so then, you know, they were giving me all this information, and the guy had said that there was someone around me who was lying, just like what my ancestors had said. And I said, yeah, I know. And then he stepped in to help and just told me to like protect myself. And then, you know, we would be going places and the ancestors would tell me, look here or there, we're going to show you what you need to see. And there was one time I reached under the chair in the car because they said reach under the seat when you get in the car. And I said, okay. I put my hand under and there was something hidden. And I said, oh, it looks like this is yours. It has your name on it. And things like that kept happening. They would position me in the right place at the right time. And we would give stuff away to people. And homeless people would never take things from them. And so I started to realize something was going on. And, you know, the universe said, we needed to show you what happens when people attach to your gifts, because you need to be able to recognize it. And so I want to share that with you because many of you have expressed wanting to illuminate your gifts, but you have to also be prepared to use a different type of discernment. And you have to be dedicated enough and open enough to work with energies that are much more powerful than you, way more powerful. And I had learned that this person was lying on my name. They were lying on my name. Many people were, and they thought I didn't know about it. But when you're attached to source, when you're attached to seraphim, when you're attached to ancestors, you always know exactly what they're saying. And all I kept hearing was severing. There's a severing. And that day that we got up in Hilton Head was the day of the severing, the beginning of the severing. And I'm also just telling you all this because I can't write my books fast enough. And so Spirit has been telling me to just speak it because it happens so fast that my memory goes, because then more messages come. And I got up that day and there was a guy at the door who was, you know, like super angry, yelling, very supernatural feeling. And I just shut the door in his face, and I could hear the person in the other room saying like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this? And I just kept hearing severing. And I said, you need to pack your bags. We need to leave now, immediately. Because all I also kept hearing was run. Run as fast as you can. And it was a little bit the ancestors, but it was mostly seraphim. Mostly. Like, I've never felt anything like that before. And as we were driving, every time I tried to use my card to pay for something for them, it would be blocked, or it would lock, or I would have to run it twice. And then one of the times, an energy on the other side, well, it was Santa Muerte, had said, have you not learned yet? And I was like, uh-oh. And Santa Muerte is very protective of me, very, very protective of me. And the person I was traveling with had also mentioned that one of the nights there was someone standing at the foot of their bed, and I knew who it was. And they said, I feel like it's Santa Muerte. And I said, if you feel like it's Santa Muerte, you better do whatever they tell you to do. Because Santa Muerte, especially the one that I work with, is not one that you don't want to listen to. They're very much so very like motherly, but they will do anything. They will do everything. Like, I've never, like, sis, you tell me what needs to be done and I will do it, right? Like, But I'm like that with most of the energies anyways, because it's such a gift. Like, why? Like, you're protecting me from literally everything. Why wouldn't I? Like, like, it makes no sense. But Santa Muerte was watching to see what was going to happen. And I didn't know it then, but I knew it later more. And when the seraphim step in, the deities step back, the ancestors step back. But the ancestors, especially the spiritual warrior ones, are still orchestrating, because they work really quickly with the seraphim, because like a lot of the seraphim are they're very much so warrior like. So if you have like warrior ancestors, warrior type energy, they will work in tandem, but they work very differently. But you will see how supernatural life is about to get. And they started doing things I've never really seen before. Like, they were ripping money out of this person's pocket, just ripping money away. Things that should cost like $100 was costing like over $800, and it was back to back within a matter of minutes. And while we were on the road, I had pulled over. I don't even know where I was, maybe Mississippi or something like that. I had pulled over wherever I saw the most amount of brown people, and I had made a phone call to someone. I like to call them my Sybil family, because I personally have gotten downloads that the Sybils are still here, and we're the Sybils. Like, we are the Sybils. Like, we are the newborn Sybils. And I told them what was going on. And they said, they never say anything. Like, they never cuss. And they were like, what the fuck is happening? And I was crying and I was shaking. And I was like, they just keep saying severing. And they're like, I need you to rip the Band-Aid off and tell me what's going on. And then I just like told them everything. I told them like literally everything. And all they said was, you need to watch what you think all the way home, because you don't know how powerful you are, and what you think always comes true. And in that moment, I knew another confirmation of what I could do. And she was right. And I've been like this since I was little. Anything I think will happen. People can do that. But how quickly can they do that, right? Like, when it comes to manifesting, some people can manifest over 6 months, over 3 months, over whatever. But when you're as fluent with your clairs as I am, it's immediate. It's like it's not next week, it's right now. And so I constantly have to be careful of what I'm thinking, which is why I don't go near people, because people also sometimes have very twisted thoughts. And so if I receive that energy and I magnify that out, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea, which is why also my team is so dense, and they will rip people literally out of my life if I start suffering, because then I create suffering. But also, I'm here to be of service, and I can't deliver messages as a prophet or a speaker or a singer or a content creator if people are around me causing chaos. And so those of you who are interested and again are wanting to develop your gifts, these are things that you have to be aware of. Like, your manifestations will pick up, yes, but everything will manifest. The good things and the things you don't always want to manifest, and you don't always get to hang out with people you want to hang out with. I spend most of my time by myself because of people's egos. And I'm not saying that because I think I'm so great. It's like, no, because energetically, if someone's having a bad day, it absorbs into me. And then I feel that. And as someone who sees the future, I see what's coming for them all the time. And we can't always intervene. Like, it has to be their own path. So understand that it is important that you develop your gifts, because there's so much that we haven't touched on yet as a society, as humans, as humans who are using our gifts, that will blow your mind. But you have to make sure you take care of yourself. Like, literally, they tell me what to eat, they tell me what to drink, they tell me where to go, they tell me what to wear. They literally, if I don't, like, in New Orleans, before I went to Cemetery One, like, they told me exactly what to wear down to a T. Same thing with today. They tell me exactly what to wear every single day. I don't have to think of anything, because if I think about something, then I mess it up. And I had forgotten to put my scarf over my head. And you always want to put it over your head, especially when you're there and you're going to a fucking cemetery. And if you're someone like me who's like a fucking magnet for everything, like, as my friend says, who's from New Orleans, like, if you're light, they will eat you. No, I'm like, I know. I was standing outside and this person was selling water, and they tapped me and they're like, hey, it's really hot outside, you should. And then I was like, what? Because I was like, and then they were like, you know, you always have to cover your head. Would you like some water? And I was like, okay, auntie, hi. And then I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's just how things happen. Like, you have to let go. You have to fully surrender. You have to, like, again, stop acting like you know everything about everything, because we know nothing about anything. And when you can get to that stage, then you can experience life again. Like, you can experience it without having to worry. But because of the way my energy works, again, I have to be careful, because people do it all the time. They start to, like, pick up on my energy, and then they think that things are for them, and then they try to say, like, oh, when are you gonna create this, or when you, and I'm like, I do shit when God and my ancestors and the seraphim tell me to do shit. No, that's it. And I just don't tell people anything, because they affect it. And then I can't be a channel. I can't be whatever the hell I'm supposed to be, right? And, you know, you're going to be tested along your path with who you are supposed to become. And you know, if you've been on my channel, how many times I was asked about being a prophet. And one of the last times was when I was on my way to the march in Washington, and I just got into the Uber and someone was like, what do you do? And I was like, this is a spirit. And then I was like, I do many things in life. And then I had said, like, I'm an activist, I'm an artist, I'm blah, 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 all the things, whatever spirit wants me to do, right? And they're like, they look at me in the mirror and they're like, so you say you're a prophet? And I was like, yeah. Boom, set in stone. Like, that is how it works. That is literally how it works. The universe, your ancestors, spirit, mostly God, will tell you what you do, what your gifts can do. But you have to not be so judgmental. Like, you cannot be judgmental. It will eat you the fuck alive. And they will press you until you trust. Until you trust. If you answer the call, they will press you and they will put you through one of those things that make orange juice. They will make you into orange juice and they'll put you back in the orange and then they'll squish you again. Like, and then you trust, and then all of a sudden shit happens, right? And, you know, they will remove everything from your life, so then you can receive more into your life. Then they will remove it, and then you will receive, and it's like this thing of ping-ponging back. And everybody has a different path, but for me, I have always had a history of being manipulated with money. Always. And when I realized that, because when I was younger, I loved money. Like, I would literally ask to have my gifts wrapped in money. Like, I've always loved money. But then when I started to get manipulated by money, I started to like mistrust money. I didn't like money. And they've been teaching me how to heal that and teaching me to stop giving my money away, because I always do that. Like, I will give you the shirt off my back to take care of you and leave myself with nothing. But that was also a part of the martyrdom that I had learned, right? And so when you accept your path, they're literally going to squeeze you like an orange until you understand it. And, you know, I was on this call where this person like didn't want to accept on this paperwork that they were sick or something like that. And it was a whole conversation. And then Master Shri, who's one of my like 5 mentors, was like, it's all about perspective. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, your ego is the one that's having issues confirming it. Like, when you're at a very basic level of manifestation, you become hyper fixated on like, oh, I don't want to do that or say that because that's not the vibe that I'm putting out there. But it's like, if you are truly one with source, none of it matters. And you understand that. Like, there is like, if source delivers you something, you are on a journey. Like, your journey is what you are experiencing. You're not experiencing the paper. You're not experiencing the pen. You're not like, that's not what you're doing. You're experiencing gratitude, and your manifestations become the impossible, right? They manifest and you're like, what the hell is this? I didn't even know that I could do this. I didn't even know I could bring this to life. But you're not doing it by yourself, right? Source is doing that. And literally the next day I got paperwork that was exactly the same. Exactly the same. And so spirit will position you into situations that are about to happen to you, so you have a heads up and so that you can process it. So then when I got that paperwork and I was marking down all the things that I had experienced in the past, that was my test of, am I healed enough to write down everything I had experienced, whether it was sexual, you know, trauma to my body, depression, PTSD, homelessness, like all of these things. Was I going to be so bothered enough that I couldn't fill it out? And I filled it out, and then literally got a free gym membership and some other stuff. So, you know what I mean? So it was like, it's like spirit starts to share things with you, but your skills as a psychic and a seer and a medium and using all these colors, whatever it is, can we just call these skills being a donut? Because like, all these words are literally useless. They're just categories, but because they all start merging together into one. So that's why sometimes it's hard to explain when it's like, oh, well, how to use your whatever, Claire. And I'm like, let me like think about this for a week, because mine are so heavily merged that they work in tandem without me even having to do anything. Like, that's how far like my gifts have evolved, and they've evolved every single day. So it's like, you have to be able to not, I would say, disassociate from your life, because that's different. Like, you have to be able to still feel comfortable and express gratitude and live in gratitude when you fully surrender to the universe, in order to let your gifts evolve in this way. Like fully in this way, because the energies like deities and seraphim, like, and Raphael, who like fucking holds it down with relationships, and Metatron, like, they're on a different frequency. Like, most people can tap in and feel the energy of them sometimes, and they will deliver messages, right? But it's a whole nother deal when they inhabit people's bodies. Like, that is wild to see. You have to be at a very high frequency to be able to receive that information. And not only that, to have them specifically intervene, because after all of that divine intervention that was happening, as I was crying to my friend and them telling me to be careful, I'm like, this is seraphim. This is like a whole nother realm. The ancestors are doing their things, especially the Aztec ones, who like will come and knock the shit out of you. Like, this is so freaky like a fucking movie, this is a whole nother, like, I'm gonna send you a thank you card. Like, it's like, you can't even fathom it. Like, the things I've experienced in the last year is just, like, it's so wild. And I'm gonna continue to make videos because I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I don't know how to explain to people that I will just be sitting here and my things will turn on and there's a message there, or there's, you know, you need to do this, or there's like cryptocurrency, or there's like a location on a map and I just go to the map. Like, it's like, there is no, I don't live a regular life. I don't know how else to explain it. I do not live a regular life. There is no regular life for me, and I've never been able to live a regular life since I was little. I've never been able to do that. And, you know, be okay with your gifts. Like, feel powerful. The reason why things get blocked all the time is because people, like, they don't want us to know how powerful we actually are. Especially Black femmes, really fucking powerful, like so powerful. Like, when my Egyptian family comes through, shit is wild. It's so wild. Like, having conversations with Isis is a whole nother, like, and Anubis, and like, what? Like, it's it's freaky. Like, Marilyn Monroe last week, like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how, like, I don't even know how to express it. Like, I feel like I'm sharing with you still, like, maybe 10% of what happens because I don't know how to make it believable. Like, I would have to have cameras around me all the time to be able to show people how weird this shit is. Like, it's so fucking weird. Like, when I was buying crystals in Miami, and then I was like, oh, do you have this? And they're like, you should get this one. It's actually stronger and it's specifically for archangels. And then I was like, oh, like angel or like Archangel Michael. And then they're like, no. They literally like they literally turned and were like, Raphael. And I was like, damn, Raphael, I didn't know you got down like that. Like, I was like, okay. And I was like, not Michael. And they like got closer to my face. And then they go back to what they're doing. Like, it's the weird, like, the things that you see in movies, like, that's a thing. That's a real fucking thing. Like, okay, there's a reader named Moon. Amazing. Love them. Like, all the things that they talk about, 10,000% true. I didn't know that art, really? There's always someone around messing shit up when I get too far into it. Like, I didn't know that Arcturians were a thing. Didn't know, right? And I kept having blue things, like blue people things show up. And I was like, what the fuck is this energy? I was like, E.T. phone home. I was like, what's happening? I need to eat some lion's mane. You know, like, the ancestors are like, we need you to put your hands and feet into the earth immediately so you can stay grounded. And I'm like, bruh, did you see that twinkling thing under the water last night? Like, you know, it's the funniest shit. And then, like, I'll go into a bookstore and there's a whole, they're like, go over there, and it's like a section of UFO stuff. And I'm like, this is about to get real cray. And so UFO stuff and Venom. But anyways, not trying to ruin it for anybody. I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, Arcturians. So I lock my dreams, right? Like, I have enough protection around me. They taught me how to do that with the help of Ganesha. Ganesha's a homie. Literally showed up today and I fucking loved it. When Ganesha shows up though, I know that shit's getting real. Like, Ganesha's about to open a new path. and like Alegua is like usually like flying around in the back doing all sorts of stuff, but like Ganesh is in the front like just running shit, and like Lakshmi is like abundance is coming, and Raphael is like sit down and heal, and the ancestors are sitting there like, homie, brush your fucking hair, and I'm like, manifest me a brush then, and then literally my mom will bring me a brush, just like brush your hair, and I'm like, oh, rude. But like, so I decided, I was like, okay, if you're real, I'm gonna give you a fucking key to my dream. The only other person who has a key to my dream is my future partner, right? The only person who has a key to my dream. And I gave them a key, and they definitely showed up. One in particular, and it scared the shit out of me. And I've never felt energy like that before. And I was like, I'm awake. I was like, this is getting too, like, I will wake myself up immediately. Like, I don't care. Like, I was like, oh, and they're like they like came forward and put their hand up to do something. And then I was like, nah, too close. Woke myself up and was like, well, that was freaky. I love you. I'm gonna take my key back till I can process this. So I'm gonna give it back to you, like, you know, when I'm ready to, like, you know, because they were just walking differently. They were so big. Like, I was like, my highest self in human form, like human form, but in a different reality, is very large. I was like, I need to start manifesting that hoe into dreams if I'm gonna be talking to them, because we need to be able to see eye to eye, and I didn't like that, right? So all of the fun stuff that I can't. How loud is it for you? Like, I just like wanna every fucking time, bruh. Every time. All of the fun stuff that you like want to experience, it's real. All of it. And I'm gonna make videos, like I said, about every single thing. And Z School for the Gifted is kicking off this week. So if you want to come, just sit on a fucking Zoom and like ask random ass questions, I'm happily going to answer them for you, because I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have anybody show me. So I've just been going through this all by myself, and to think about all the people out there, because the veil is so thin and spirit is expediting gifts. People don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happening when your phone lights up. You don't know, like, you can feel it. You can feel this like energetic push on you, or like an opening, or like a, I don't have a word for it. Like, you can, it's just there. Like, and the way I explained it last year with one of my mentors, I literally sat there on video and was like, something really big is coming, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know what to do about it. And then they asked me, well, why did you manifest it? And I was like, bitch, I don't know. My soul does shit. Look, don't. But it's like, I didn't have a teacher ever who had the same gifts as me. Like, I've seen people with, Babe's crying. Anytime I get rowdy, he gets rowdy. I've seen people with a mix of my gifts, but I've never met a teacher with the exact same gifts, like, who are as freakishly psychic to the point where, like, when the severing was happening, that's what I'm calling it. Babe, calm. My visions were so fast that it was like instant. Like, the ancestors would say, she's gonna break your protection candle. Boom. 10 seconds later, it broke. And they were like, and they gave me a flash of practical magic. You know, when the redheaded sister, Nicole Kidman, like, breaks the glass, and she's like, oh, Sally, I'm so sorry. Like, all these things, right? And practical magic has been following me for like the last year. And they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And like, was like slowly picking stuff up. But I was like, we have Sarah. I was like, you do this, I'm gonna just click. It was literally the scene from Practical Magic. And I was like, whoosh, throwing shit. Like I was like, I don't know how you guys orchestrate it so well and explain it to me through movies, music, and taking over technology. Like, I don't know how it works. And then they would show me, like, boom, look, she's gonna grab it. And I'm like, oh, and then they go, and I'm like, please don't touch that. Like, it's like, they go rapid fire visions. Like not like, I'm gonna use a crystal ball, and I'm gonna look at this. It's like, boom, 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 boom. Like, right before I got scammed, or they tried to scam me, the Illuminati, literally on social media. I kept hearing things about the Illuminati, like Illuminati, the Illuminati is gonna come when you see a pyramid, blah, 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 boom. I kept seeing pyramids that morning. It was like everywhere, everywhere. And then my phone goes bing. And then it's like a message from a lodge master of the Illuminati. I was like, do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm a fucking seer, dummy. Like, I knew you were coming a long time ago. I'm like, and I have family who are Freemasons. What are you talking about? Don't be dumb. Like, don't be dumb. And my friend, like, was like, did you know I was coming? Of course I know you're coming. I know what you're gonna ask, and I know you haven't done your work, and I know you're not healing, and I know you're about to shit all over my day right now. So get the fuck out of here. Like, you know, so it's like, sometimes you just gotta let your gifts evolve. This is such a long thing, but I don't care. I'm just talking because they told me so. Like, you just gotta let them evolve and embrace them, but know that people are gonna come and use and abuse your gifts. Like, they're gonna try, which is why I teach people also about protection and how to connect with deities. Because if you have the energy like mine, where you can literally have a walk-in into your body, no one and nothing can fucking touch you, and supernatural things will start to happen. You will be protected on a whole different kind of level. And the person who was supposed to be my mentor, I thought, but actually was just a helper, like, they were supposed to do some sort of ceremony. They had just given me this long spiel about, like, listening to your ancestors and all these things. And I was like, I do whatever the fuck my ancestors tell me to do. Even if I have to find a way to fly to motherfucking Miami with $5 in my pocket, bitch, I'm gonna manifest it and somehow get my ass over there, because they're testing me. And I know that shit's gonna be fine, right? And, like, I was like, okay, then you're gonna do the ritual on me because I need your help and I need your protection. He said no. All his fucking candles went shoo. He was like, don't put my candles out. And I was like, were you not just telling me that I should listen to my ancestors? Have you not been told by your ancestors? But it's like, I didn't even know I could do that. Like, I didn't know, just like it was the weirdest thing. He was like, my guides are really strong. And I was like, my guides are really strong. Why do you think I'm here? Ta-da! Right? So it's like, work on your protection, work on your connection, work on your, so you just keep rhyming. Dr. Seuss, no, fuck that. Like, work on elevating yourself so you can reach these other frequencies. Like, Diana makes a joke. She says dial 1. She's on frequency 1, dial 1. Because she was number 1. She was the first one. To, like, actually be a part of me. Even though some of them were there for a long time, she was the first one to, like, make herself known and to be in my body. And when I was in New Orleans, I could feel it. And I told my friend, and I was walking around, and I was like, I'm sitting not in my, like, I was like, I'm in my body, but someone else is in my body. Like, I literally was like, someone else is in my body, and my vision kind of looks like this, and I don't feel like myself, and I just felt like really different. And then I went to a bone reader, and it was after, like, that was the other thing. You can be initiated into things without actual initiation, just BTW, because a lot of people think that you have to be initiated through certain people, which, yes, you can. In some cultures, that still happens. But for some reason, every time I go to Louisiana, I get initiated without anybody there, and it happens here now, too. And so Orishas will just do it themselves. And I didn't know that that could happen, but it usually happens with some sort of lacing of something. And that was how Diana ended up having that really strong channel. And when I went to the bone reader, they were just like staring at me and just told me, they're like, you have many more spirits and many more energies that are going to be stepping into your body. And I was like, well, that's not something you hear every day, you know? And I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Because I was also kind of like I wasn't myself. I literally wasn't my fucking self. And he was like, you have to not be scared, and you have to trust, and you have to surrender. But I'm telling you that even if you think of a number of energies that are going to be coming in and out of your body, it's massive. It's more than you can ever imagine. And I was like, okay. And he like okay. Okay. And he had said, you know, like, just prepare yourself, like, take care of yourself and speak, like, share, teach people. Like, I know that I'm gonna have a house of hoodoo. Like, I know that. I've seen it. It's done, right? But it's like, you have to be willing to, again, let go. Like, we know nothing. And that is the only thing that you need to know. And once you remember that, the rest is easy. The rest is easy. And not everybody can come along. And your spiritual tools will always find you. I needed new railroad spikes. I was sitting in the car and said, I need a new railroad spike. Literally, my friend, 10 minutes later, showed up to the same event and they had a railroad spike for me. Like, your tools will always find you. Always find you. Someone just hand delivered 108 mala beads from the Himalayas to me. So you're always taken care of, and you will always be fine. Always, always, always. So never be scared of your gifts. Never think that you are in danger. You're really not. It's just colonialism has taught us to fear how powerful we are. We're extremely powerful. And people know that. And it scares them. But let them be scared while you have fun. Right? Like, just, I want to end it on that. Like, let people be scared. They're always going to be scared. And there's going to be people who will try and shit all over your gifts and tell you that you don't matter and tell you that you're crazy. My family has been doing that for me my whole life, even my own parents. And I'm not crazy. And now they like to tap into my gifts. So you are not crazy. You are gifted. And if you want a community to talk about this stuff, like, I am always here. I'm very intentional about trying to read as many comments as I can and replying myself. And again, I just know that you don't need to go on this journey by yourself. I'm always here. I'm here to give you lots of hugs. Virtually, not in person, because I don't know you like that. I don't touch no bodies unless I know. I'd be like walking by people like, don't touch me. So I'm sending you lots of love, lots of hugs. I hope you enjoy this like rant of things, and I'm just gonna keep sharing as much as I can because I'm tired of people acting like we are not powerful. It's like, bitch, you don't even know what powerful is, okay? I can see what you did last week and that shit was whack. So take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I'm sending you lots of love, lots of hugs, and I'm signing off. Goodbye, everybody. Get some sunflowers for Oshun if you work with Oshun, if you're watching this. They're great. Bye.